Morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Wednesday. It's the third day of July 2024. I hope you're all safe and healthy today. Actually, I'm in Minnesota, so it's morning here technically, but I think if you're on the East Coast, it might be after 12. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case. So good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. I'm here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, visiting my son and my grandkids. We're at the hotel this morning, and I've been, of course, following the Knicks news the whole time. Looking, what I'm actually almost holding my breath for is Precious Achuiwa signing. So the longer everything plays out and nothing is done yet, the better chance the Knicks have of retaining Precious Achuiwa. And of course, people go crazy. I mean, some platform mentioned Walter Kessler, and people are going crazy on that. Let me just say right now, it's BS, and it's false, and we need to stop listening. And how come every time somebody's interested in a player, right, all of a sudden either Deuce McBride or Julius Randle they have to come up as a trade bait? It's ridiculous. Let's go over this again. The Knicks were one game away from the Eastern Conference Finals. Why would you want to trade any of your rotational pieces? They did this last year, missing 3 of their rotational pieces. And people are talking about trading one of them. Some people have no clue. And please, when you're looking at players, now I can understand Walter Kessler, though he's not available. Neither is Richards. I think he's not available either. So stop mentioning people that are not really available. And if you got to deal with Danny Ainge for anybody, are you kidding me? So some of y'all need to really, get a clue, because no. So really what we need right now, re-sign Precious Achuiwa. That's all we need. That's all we need. And somebody I respect said, well, we need a shot blocker. Precious is not a shot blocker. Okay. Some of y'all need to go back and look at Precious Achuiwa videos from this past season. Precious Achuiwa, this past season, especially in February and March, made some of the biggest blocks of the season. Some of the most important and biggest blocks of the season were made by Precious Achuiwa. Against guys like Joel Embiid, he made blocks like that. So please, some of y'all, and then please get off this theory tip. Go with what actually happened, okay? So I am looking for a Precious Achuiwa signing. I'm not disappointed when I see Mo Bamba sign with the Clippers. I don't care. I don't care when Mo Wagner re-ups with Orlando. I don't care. I do care about Precious, because we know what he can do, because he's not going to be expensive, because he knows Tom Thibodeau's system, and Thibodeau, through war, it was in the heat of battle, learned to trust him. And so we get Precious Achuiwa back. We have the same team we had last year. You take out Bodega and Burks, and you add in Mikal Bridges, and as we've been saying for a whole year, we've been saying this. Same team. I did not think it was possible to keep the same team and get Mikal Bridges. Just look at the brilliance of the Don and his crew. So last year, this time, we have RJ Barrett, IQ, right? And we were talking about, and I said this, last year, this time, the only 2 guys I would trade IQ and RJ for were either OG or Mikal Bridges. Okay, we talked about that. So then, trade deadline comes, and we got a lot of injuries, and the Don picks up Bodega 44, otherwise known as Bojan Bogdonavic, and he picks up Alec Burks, right? And then we're talking, okay, the Nets looked like they were not going to go into rebuild. As we were saying last year, the Nets should have started rebuild last year. They really should have. They wasted a year. Bad management on their part. Once you got off of Kyrie and Kevin Durant and Pillsbury Doughboy, once you got off all James Harden, once you got off all of them, you should have just went to rebuild. Okay, you had a good situation. with Kenny Atkinson, and you blew it all up for them three. See, this is the fallacy of the big three concept. It really doesn't work. It rarely works, put it that way. It worked with Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett, and the reason it worked with them is because they drafted Rajon Rondo. Without Rajon Rondo, they would not win that chip. Okay? Then Miami, of course, with LeBron, Bosh, and D-Wade in their primes. That really was legit. It worked. They put a bunch of minimum wage contracts around them, stars looking for rings, and it worked. But that's not the norm, and that's not usually something I would depend on to work. Nowadays, your big three are different. Like the Knicks have a big three. The Knicks' big three are Brunson, Randall, and OG Anunoby. You could add Mikal Bridges in there, but Mikal Bridges is not really part of a big three. But you could add them as your big, but not in the same sense. These guys stir the pot, but you don't have. You have really Mikal Bridges, Mitchell Robinson, Deuce McBride, Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo. You got serious pieces around them. Whereas in the big three, in the traditional sense, you got all minimum contracts and rookies around the big three because you're paying all your salary cap for those three guys. Okay, so and even in the LeBron era of Miami's championships, the two that they won, LeBron, Bosh, and Wade each took pay cuts so that they'd have more money to get supporting cast, which they did. So that's a different scenario. So that big three thing is really played out. It don't work. Okay, like I said, Durant won a chip when he joined a team that had already won 72 games and a chip, and he just added his talents to it. Okay, so they won. That wasn't no big deal. When you put Durant as one of a big three, he ain't won nothing, and ain't going to. Okay, now in Phoenix, they ain't gonna win nothing. Okay, and now Philly, I'm sorry, all the hype. See, the NBA is entertainment, and part of making money in entertainment is hype. I mean, it is what it is. Okay, now me, I'm a Knicks fan. I'm not a fan of no other team, no other, nobody else. I don't give a crap about what other teams do except how it affects our Knicks. I want the Knicks, and I don't want the hype. I want wins. I want W's. I want chips. That's what we're talking about. So everything that builds to that, I don't care about. The hype, I don't care about. And doing Knicks cast as I've been doing them and looking at the team from an objective point of view, in my view, I could look at Philly and say they're overhyped. They're overhyped. First of all, Embiid is basically a leg and a half for $50 million. Then they paying 35-year-old Paul George $40-something million. And really, they better hope Tyrese Maxey is still Tyrese Maxey, because all them other cats they got, Oubre, who else they got? Eric Gordon. Come on, man. You know what that reminds me of? Getting all these names from the past and trying to add them in at the last minute. That's Knicks. That's ancient Knicks. We used to do that. That's why I know it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. Okay? So I'm not worried about them. We need to sign Precious Achuiwa. We got a team. We ready to go. So I'm looking for a Precious Achuiwa sign, and I'm hoping that today is July 3rd. Free agency signings begin. Like, you'll start seeing people introduced and free agents introduced to their new teams once the signings are official after July 6th. So July 6th they start signing the contract. So Mikal, he'll be introduced as the newest Knick on after July 6th, and you'll know. I'm telling you right now, they're not gonna let all the media in. It's gonna be MSG media, just like they did with Jalen Brunson, and then you'll have that there. Last time when they did Brunson, Berman was there. They might let a guy like that in there, a New York guy. But generally speaking, the Don's keeping this thing tight, as he should. So you're going to see an introduction for Mikal Bridges. But at this point, we're just looking for a Precious Achuiwa sign. It looks like the Knicks have the $5 million mini mid-level. But I still think they could get more if they can do a sign and trade with Alec Burks. That's another name we haven't heard yet. Alec Burks is a capable NBA player. We don't need him on the Knicks, and he don't want to play for Knicks. He's going to switch agents, and he's going to get more money somewhere else. But as the money's drying up, sign and trades become more valuable. So right now, Detroit still has cap space. The Spurs still have cap space. Orlando still has cap space. Charlotte still has cap space. So they can take on Alec Burks' salary. It's going to cost us some second round picks, but whatever. So that will cause us to be able to get, I think, more money to Precious. That's what this comes down to. We're trying to get Precious more money. Precious is worth, to me, $8 million a year. So to get 5 is to get him real cheap, man. And if I was him, I would probably sign that with a player option after year 1, because he's going. And let me tell you something, with the big deal coming for the NBA starting next year, there's going to be that's why you see in these large contracts, there's going to be a lot of money out there. You're going to see a lot of now $300 and $400 million contracts. You're going to see that. But next year. So the money is going to be good for everybody. All the fish is going to be able to eat in the ocean, so, including guys like Precious. So I want to see him get what he should get, fair market value. So I think $8 million is about right for him. 7 to 10, I would say, but 8 is a nice number. 5 is, I think you're getting him at a big discount. So that's what I'm looking for right now. Precious Achuiwa. I'm not paying attention to all of the rumors about all of these players. Y'all got it. Just because somebody says Danny Ainge is willing to listen, you should, if you have any clue about who Danny Ainge is, you should understand. All that means is he's ready to rip you off. That's all that means. It doesn't mean you're going to get a deal done, because he's willing to listen. Some of y'all get carried away. Just like they mentioned $4.7 million, everybody's like, oh, they're going to trade Deuce. Stop getting carried away, y'all. Listen, some of y'all are going to do it because you can't help yourself. But for some of y'all that are more rational, let me just say this. When you're in negotiations, the guy that wins is the guy that stays the coolest. The guy that looks desperate always loses. In Knicks teams of the past, they always look desperate. We're not desperate for any big man. We're not. We could go to war what we got right now. Okay? Even with the rookie that some of y'all hyping about, Mr. Irrelevant, we could go to war with them right now. We got 3 guys. But I want to bring back Precious because he's the final piece. When I say final piece, some knucklehead came over here and said, yeah, we need one more piece. We got to trade Randall. Some of y'all really need help. Some of y'all need some help, y'all. But no, when I say one more piece, I'm talking about Precious Achuiwa. I'm talking about Precious Achuiwa. We need one more piece. His name is Precious. Can we sign him and go on with life? That's all I want to know. We'll go from there. Y'all, I'm going to enjoy my time with my grandkids. And they not grandkids. I mean, they grown men, right? I got 16 and 20-year-old grandchildren. And so we're gonna hang out. And with my son, he's going to hang out. So we out here in Minnesota. Y'all enjoy your Wednesday. We'll talk to you soon. Shalom.